Here with trainer Dr. Ian Moore, who has Storm Shadow in the 2024 Pepsi North America Cup final this coming Saturday night. Before we talk about Storm Shadow, maybe not as nice to talk about is Clever Cody. Maybe if you can give us a bit of an indication as to what happened with him.
Dear. I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, it was. I've been racing horses for well over 50 years, and that was probably the most disappointing race of my entire life. He's a very talented horse, but he has and has had right from the get-go issues behind the gate at a racetrack. I remember even last year when he's 2-year-old, I have a little gate of my own. We school him at the farm before we bring them in here. So I remember turning him to the gate and he just charged it and was a total jerk the entire time for 4 laps on it. And he sort of remained that way. And yet here a couple of weeks ago, after the race in Ohio that he won, where he did give one violent head throw, I did school him again at home, 4 laps the wrong way and then 4 the right way the next day, and I'm just kind of dangling the line, so he knows it's not race time. But anyway, I was very disappointed. Dave Miller had talked to Aaron Merriman about him because he seems to get along the best with him. He doesn't fight him, essentially, and he times it good, and maybe down there they might get the gate out of there a little quicker than they do with other tracks as well. But Dave said he kind of fooled him because he was going to feed him in, and he said he was a perfect gentleman up the 3 lengths off it, and then he charged the gate, and he had no control. And so again, very disappointing for all of us involved with that colt. And but I see he's in the consolation Saturday, which I didn't think he would get in, but anyway, we're there. And I had him in here today. I had a discussion with Sylvain, who drove him last year for me. And obviously, and he knew this, I didn't put him down this year because he has his father's colt, right? Who was going to be in all the big ones as well. So he schooled him for me today. I added a McKieran to him, just jacked his head up a little bit harsh, but he's been harsh on us a couple of times this year here at Woodbine as well. And what else did we do? I added a heavy spiraled mini bit to him as well. The only time he needs it is behind the gate when he gets close to it. So they schooled him here like a baby race, start over here at the head of the backstretch. He went on and threw himself a couple of times, and then he was fine. Trained out here in 53 this morning. So we'll give him a couple of days off. We'll try again Saturday with Sylvain. So we'll see how we get along with that, I guess. Anyway, that's him. You want to know about Storm Shadow now?
I think it's time to move over to Storm Shadow.
I think so. So Storm Shadow has been a very, very pleasant surprise for all the 4 partners involved with him. That would be Bolton Stables, which is Ed Bolton and some of his partners in Florida, Claremont, Florida. Ron McClellan, which is RG Group Limited, Ron and Gail, and Search of Art, of course, and Mac Nickel is the other partner on him. There was no room for me, or I would have been a partner on him as well. He was the most expensive yearling we bought in the fall of 2022. I think it was 160 American, and the shadow part comes from because he's out of a shadow play mare. I did not find any shadow plays. There's only about 22 for sale public auction that year, so I didn't find any that I liked, and I don't just buy them on emotion. So I bought 2 of them, including him, that were out of shadow play mares. The other was Always Be Mickey, I guess. So he wasn't a bad colt, but he was not this caliber. So anyway, he's sort of been in the shadows, if you like, or on the back burner, but he snuck up and he won the gold last year. He won an elimination of the Breeders' Crown and was a good third in the final of the Breeders' Crown. Like he's very legitimate. He hasn't beat 150 yet. I'm sure Saturday night he's going to have to do that, but hopefully he's going to get a trip off the rail. The rail's not necessarily desired post here, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than having the 9 or 10 hole, so I'll take it any day of the week. And he has drawn 2 10s in his last 4 starts and a 6 last week, I believe, so yeah, we'll take it. The other story about him, and I might have told you this, is that I broke him that fall when he came from Harrisburg of 2022. I jogged him 1 week, Saturday afternoon, after he had his 6 days of jogging. He has severe colic, abdominal pain. And I looked at him and I diagnosed that he had a nephrosplenic entrapment, it's called, which is where the spleen loops over a piece of the bowel that's in a spot where it's not supposed to be. And if you get that early, that usually would be considered probably one of the better prognoses for colic surgery, which in horses is not that good, like 50-50 maybe at most. So we took him up right away to Ocala, and he was on the table, got operated on, within a couple hours, so to speak. So essentially, he never started 2023 until the end of January of that year. So he's off a whole entire 2 months and then some. So I had to re-break him again. And I put it to him pretty good. Like, we still had him ready, I believe, for the end of August. And we raced him about, 6 or 7 weeks right in a row. And he took it. And he just got better and better. And this year, as a 3-year-old, being a Bettor's Delight, a lot of the Bettor's Delights, it's a great breed. We've had a lot of success with them. But they're often a little lazy if they're not in a race. They like to just do what they want to do. And, you used to have to take a training whip just to tap them along, keep them going. This year, you hang on to them, and away you go. So he's gotten better and stronger every week. He didn't grow a whole lot, didn't change a whole lot over the winter, but he's just turned into a real nice colt. So I'm glad for all the people involved with him that he is in. They're all going to be here on the weekend, which is good, so I'm hoping for a good end result, at least a good, respectable showing anyway.
How does his week look going into Saturday?
Well, he jogged, let me see, today's Tuesday, so I give him 2 days off after Saturday's race in the paddock, and he jogged today for the first time. He looked good, and I will train him on Thursday with Odds On Platinum, who's the filly in the Fan Hanover race on Saturday as well. Just a light training because he's been unfortunately with the scheduling, they put about 6 in a row here for the 3-year-olds, which is not good, but I don't know why they have to do that with the golds. They could have had a gold in May this year, maybe 2 if they wanted to, but they chose not to. And they're all jammed up together. And it's tough racing a horse at that level, a young horse at that level, week after week. And it's a big race, so you don't want to just jog them. Like if it was only a gold, I might just jog him this week and not train him since he's been going so steady. But big race, you're probably going to train him, right? So that's what's going to happen. So and hopefully we can give him a little time off then for the next goal, which I think is at Rideau Carlton, 2 weeks. I think there is a break there. Yeah.
Any equipment changes lined up for him this weekend?
None whatsoever. He actually wears the same gear, exactly what he wore last year. With his hobbles are a little bit longer, but not a whole lot because he never grew a whole lot. He filled out a little bit. That's about it. He's still very immature for a 3-year-old, and I'm not sure of his foaling date. But he's a nice colt to be around and just doesn't do much wrong. He goes up to the gate, but he can't push it. He's got to be off at about 4 inches. He gets a little bit like that, but other than that, he can leave good. He can get spotted. Hopefully he will leave out of there in the rail. Bobby knows him very well, and he enjoys driving him as much as I enjoy training him. He did get on the right line last year as a 2-year-old, and I ended up with what's called an Italian side reining bit on him, wrapped with some rubber to make it nice and thick. That was the only thing we could steer him with. So this year I trained him down without that, no head poles, no nothing, till he got down to about 2 minutes, then he got on the right line again. The only thing that worked was the same gear we had last year, which is not unusual. So yeah, so we're looking forward to Saturday, and hopefully it's going to be a good show for everybody, including ourselves.
So given that you thought you had a good chance of having 2 in the race, you have 1, how much more special does it feel now that you actually did have that 1 qualify, given he was the one who was the second one that night?
That's about it, yeah. Well, it certainly helped make the night a little better. And of course, the filly that we raced also got in. And of note, I think, is that there are 5 local entries in that race, which in my eyes is perhaps a bit uncommon. Mostly it's a lot of American 3-year-olds coming here with a couple of locals sprinkled in the mix. So we've got half of the field this year, and I hope that somebody local ends up winning it, and I hope it might be us maybe, but I hope the money stays local for sure, because it'll be money spent right here and buying yearlings again and so on. So it is special to have him in there, and I just, I've already gone past last Saturday with the other colt, and we're working on this Saturday now, and like I said, I've had many disappointments in the business over about 58 years now, and I'm sure I'm going to have a whole lot more if I stick around. That was certainly one of the hardest ones to take for us, and but we'll see what happens this weekend and go from there.
Let's hope for your sake this Saturday's a better outcome.
I hope so too.
Best of luck, and thanks as always for your time.
No problem. Thank you very much, and best of luck to everybody in the North American Cup and all the big races on Saturday.